Good morning, Colorado. You are listening to the Daily Sun Up. It's a conversation with the Colorado Sun. I'm team editor David Krause. Before we jump into today's conversation, here is a quick message from our sponsor.
Take a day to focus on your goals and learn from top thought leaders. The Ames Community College Spotlight Speaker Series returns September 16th with best-selling authors Dan Heath, Susan Cain, and change leadership expert Cassandra Worthy. All live at the Ames Welcome Center in Greeley. One day, 3 powerful perspectives. Set the summer trend. Electrify your lawn equipment and help reduce harmful ground-level ozone in your Front Range community. Learn more at simplestepsbetterair.org. Journalists at the Colorado Sun don't tell you how to vote, but we make sure you're informed when you do. Donate to keep independent news free for all Coloradans at coloradosun.com/primaries-2026.
Now, back to the show.
Good morning. Welcome to the Unaffiliated Podcast. I'm Colorado Sun Public Policy Editor Justin George. We have a special post-primary podcast today where we will discuss the surprising results of Tuesday's races. Joining us today is political reporter Colleen Slevin. Colleen, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Let's get right to it. Colorado has been an increasingly blue state, and that was even more evident on Tuesday. For all intents and purposes, the Democratic primary was a general election in our state in some key races. Additionally, we saw progressives, including Democratic socialists, that have swept into our consciousness with the ascension of New York's Mayor Zohran Mamdani, make stunning inroads into Colorado politics. Let's talk to Colleen about one of those sort of specific races where we're looking at a progressive here who is battling somebody who had deeper roots in a district. Colleen, you've spent the last several weeks covering the 8th Congressional District race for the Democratic nomination, which was won by State Rep Manny Rutenow. It was a nationally watched race, and he made race and ethnicity a central part of his campaign, defeating Shannon Byrd, who had, I would say, much deeper roots in the district and has been a public servant in that region for quite some time. Why do you think he won by such a significant margin, and what does it say about the fast-growing but still semi-agricultural district he's in?
Yeah, he definitely won by a convincing margin there, given the fact that he only arrived in Colorado, around the same time this district was first created. So that's pretty remarkable. He really did stress that a district that is so diverse, that's about 40% Latino, should be also a Latino. And the short history of the district has been that the person who is in Washington does have some Latino roots. That did seem to resonate with the voters there.
Colleen, he moderated some of his stances, as you've written about very much. Did that have much of an effect, or what did voters, especially ones that you talked to, say when you sort of brought up that some of his stances have shifted over the years?
Yeah, well, there were some people who were upset that he had changed his positions and walked away from him in frustration. But I did hear from a few people who really like Manny Rutenow as a person, who's someone who's been out in the community even for a short time, but really getting to know people, getting involved in the community. And they just really seem to fall back on that they know who he is, they think he has good values, and they weren't too upset about the change of positions. They believe that he is a person who's going to represent the people, including themselves. So that's how they were reviewing those changes.
Colleen, you also covered the stunning Congressional District 1 race in which Democratic Socialist Malat Quiros beat 15-term incumbent Diana DeGette in the Denver district. It was a stunning win. It was something that is still on the national news. Just what are your takeaways from that? You went to a forum, saw them both there. You spoke, and even you went on a canvassing. You went canvassing with Quiros and some of her supporters, so you were able to sort of see and talk to voters and see the impact and the energy that they had. What are your takeaways from her win And how do you put that in perspective with Manny's win as well?
Yeah, I was definitely struck by Malat Kiros's just organization. She just had so many people out, literally knocking on doors to help her. She was out at events, farmers markets, things like that. She just really got a lot of buzz and just people excited about her. She's very good with her social media too. There was just a real feeling of just upbeatness about what she was doing, and people were just really excited about her. And that's something that people said a lot. I'm just really excited to have someone to be excited about.
Did you feel that there's sort of an anti-establishment sort of disenchantment that some voters have, and it doesn't really matter sort of where you are on the issues? It's just that you've been in office for some time and people are just sort of upset by the way government in general on both sides of the aisle has been going.
Yeah, Kiros really hammered and probably will continue to hammer that she is against corporate PAC money in politics. And that is something that her supporters talk a lot about. They really think that things in Washington and elsewhere in politics haven't really changed because politicians who might say they support something that they also support, but it doesn't happen, it doesn't come to fruition. They do believe money in politics is behind that. And Kiros stressed that over and over again in her debate with DeGette shortly before the election. And I think that is something that really does resonate with her supporters.
So, Colleen, looking forward now, especially with the Manny Rutnell win, he now faces Gabe Evans, who's the incumbent there. He's also a Latino. And it's a really interesting district. The 8th district stretches, up I-25 towards Greeley and encompasses Weld County and Adams County. There's some semi-rural agricultural farms and things there. And then there's also tract homes being built. It's heavily Latino, I think 40%. So where do you think Manny goes now? He is part of this progressive movement that has swept, elections, and surprised many people from New York to now Colorado. Does he move increasingly to the left and embrace Malat Kiros and, sort of the Democratic Socialist Party? Or does he move towards the right and tries to basically win over some of the, independents that might be in that district, people who support Gabe Evans? It's a really interesting dilemma that he has. I know you can't predict what he might do, but any sort of reporting or thoughts on sort of, where he might sort of put his focus on when it comes to the general election?
Well, we did see him moderate some of his positions during the primary campaign when he was running against a Democrat with a more moderate voting record, Shannon Byrd. So it could be that he stays right there, trying to be in the middle in one of the most competitive House district races in the country, where observers who follow politics think, well, there's many people who already know, like if they cast their ballot today, who they vote for, but kind of right in the middle, maybe it's 10 or 15% of people who are living their lives and aren't obsessed with politics. Those people probably are kind of more centrist, and those could be the people that he would need, that Manny Rutnell would need to win in order to, win this seat. So it seems like staying in the middle would be part of the strategy.
Okay. Colleen, thank you so much for your time. I know you're busy and on deadline, have another story coming up. Okay, folks, that's all the time that we have. Again, thank you for listening to the Unaffiliated podcast. If you like what you hear, I urge you to subscribe to the Unaffiliated newsletter, which comes out every Friday. Follow more of our political coverage at coloradosun.com.
Thanks for listening. And finally, here are a few stories that you should know about today.
Colorado is waging war against the tiny, fast-reproducing zebra mussels. State experts have one message for anyone getting outside this 4th of July: clean your gear. Colorado officials are focusing efforts to limit the mussel spread by asking those who touch the water to clean up, including their paddleboards, kayaks, canoes, waders, boots, and even river shoes. Amid one of Colorado's most dangerous starts to fire season in years, dozens of Colorado communities have canceled Independence Day fireworks displays. Wildfires are raging across the state, and fire restrictions spread along the western slope. But a handful of towns say their professional shows can still be conducted safely. Wildfires continue to grow across Colorado, and officials say the Aspen Acres fire has scorched nearly 50,000 acres and at least destroyed 180 structures southwest of Pueblo. The fire, which started June 29th, was human-caused, but officials have not released more details on their investigation. We'll have updates on the wildfires throughout the weekend on our homepage.
To read these stories and much more, visit our website, coloradosun.com. As an award-winning nonprofit news outlet, we take our mission of credible, independent journalism seriously, and you can check out our trust indicators at coloradosun.com/ethics. Our music is by the Denver-based Matt Skellinger Group. A link to their music is in our show notes, and a special thanks to Swallow Hill Music. I'm David Krause. See you next time.